Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jai Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva. Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol. Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साधि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution and Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, one announcement, there will be Harinam Sankirtan today at 3 p.m. across from Trader Joe's on Greenville Avenue. So please come and join us. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा कालचंजी राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल Nitai Gaur. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, our dear Srila Prabhupada, and all the Guru Vargas, may I speak few words in the glorification of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Kathanchana smite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved vismite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna, please pray for me. This is a fill-in. I'm filling in for somebody. So I just happened to come here and sit, so I don't know. So we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, chapter 9, 167 onwards. I'm going to pull it out. It's a Bengali verse. I'll read it. You can read along, or you can just follow through. So little background to this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is on a South Indian tour. So he is going around, different places, and the places are explained throughout the verses, and he's meeting different Brahmanas and Vaishnavas like that, and then his different experience. One of them was Venkata Bhatt, the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who is on our altar as the 6 Goswamis, one of our 6 Goswamis. And if any of you know Radharaman DT in Vrindavan, he belonged, it was Gopal Bhatta Goswami who, by his, deep calling out to the Lord, because he had this 12 Shaligram Shilas, and then some rich merchant came and gave all the like Sanatan Goswami, the other Goswamis, we have 6 Goswamis, so all the other Goswamis who had deities, he gave, jewelries and clothing and things like that. But he had Shaligram Srila, he had 12 Shaligram Srila, and he was feeling this pain of not able to decorate. So he started feeling really, really sad. And this was around Narsimha Chaturdasi, which is about to come for us as well, next week. And on that day, or the previous day, he was just praying that I want to dress you, No, how do I dress a Srila? Because all you do is, take some Ganga water, purified water, oil, and then tulsi leaf. That's all you need to worship Shaligram Srila. So he was so much in pain, and he wanted to decorate the deity. So he was praying, and then he went to sleep. Morning he got up. That was the day of Narsimha Chaturdasi, and he came back, and he's from his morning duty, he came back, and then he saw one of the Shila turned into a deity of the 12 Shilas, and that's Radharaman. So Radharaman is really very, very tiny. If you go and take darshan, you can really hide him like this and nobody will see, unlike our Kalachandji. So that's one deity that never left Vrindavan, even after, Mughals doing all the things and, all the atrocities that were going at that time, but then they could easily hide Radharaman. So Radharaman never left Vrindavan. That's what's being said. So Radharaman was deity of, and it's also said like how for Prahlad Maharaj, Narsimha Dev came out of the pillar. Similarly, Radharaman came out of, for Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he came out of this Shaligram Shila and took a form for his deity, for his devotee. So like that. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami's daddy Venkata Bhatt, he was there, Srirangam, and then Mahaprabhu had a encounter with him. He had, they had an exchange, and it's been mentioned in the previous verses from where I remember that they had a very friendly relationship. They were in a mood of friendship, in the rasa of relationship of friendship. And in jokingly, Mahaprabhu were teasing Venkata Bhatt because he's from Sri Vaishnavas. And he was teasing that your Lakshmi is always with Narayan. Why does she want to be in association of Krishna? And then Venkata Bhatt, he said, knowing the tattva so well, because he was such a learned pandit also. So he said that, because there is no difference between Narayan and Krishna. So he said, that's fine, but then where gopis could enter the rasa dance, but then Lakshmi could not. And then they had a back and forth, and finally Venkata Bhatt gives up and saying, you are the Lord, only you know what could be the activities of your activities. Nobody else, a Jivatma like me, Venkata Bhatt was referring to himself. He said, I cannot understand your activities, only you can understand your activities because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that went on, and then Mahaprabhu moved on. So today's verse is CC Madhya 9:167. Parmananda Puri Taha Rahe Chaturmas Shuni Mahaprabhu Gala Puri Goshair Pash. So there was a hill where Paramananda Puri was staying, and Mahaprabhu heard that he stays there during Chaturmas, during the seasons of monsoon and the Chaturmas. And then Mahaprabhu went to meet Paramananda Puri. That's the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. CC Madhya 9:167 we are in. Translation. Paramananda Puri had stayed at the Rishabha hill during the 4 months of the rainy season. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he immediately went to see him. Next one, 168. Puri Goshair Prabhu Koila Charono Bandhan Preme Puri Goshai Tare Koilo Alingon. Upon meeting Paramananda Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered him all respects, touching his lotus feet, and Paramananda Puri embraced the Lord in ecstasy. So, upon meeting Paramananda Puri, Mahaprabhu offered him all respect and touched his feet. But Paramananda Puri, knowing that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. Text 169. Tino dino preme dohe Krishna katha range shei vipro ghore duhe rohe ek sange. This is very common. You see Krishna katha. Whenever the devotees meet, we from Rai Ramananda to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they are always going, talking about Krishna. Krishna katha is the, life and soul for the devotees. So all they do, they talk Krishna katha, and that's what Prabhupada tells us, that you don't have to be Moni. Moni is one who does not talk. But then all you have to do, even if you just talk Krishna katha, you are as good as Moni. Because Moni is, a limb of being austere, doing penances when you don't talk. And I was hearing a class about Raghunath Goswami. He wouldn't talk to anybody. not because he thought he is a very elevated soul, but because he was scared that he will do prajalpa, he will do as Mahaprabhu instructed him. One of the instruction that Mahaprabhu gave him, Raghunath Das Goswami, was do not speak gramya katha, don't speak mundane stuff like who did what and etc. Don't unnecessary, this is called, it's called chastity of the tongue. The chastity of the tongue comes when we talk about Krishna, and the tongue becomes unchaste when we talk other things. So this was Mahaprabhu's instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami, which is another Goswami like Gopal Bhatta Goswami we mentioned, so another Goswami, celebrated, another pure devotee, was Raghunath Das Goswami. He lived for 16 years with Mahaprabhu under the guidance of Sarup Damodar. But then this was one direct instruction by Lord Chaitanya to Raghunath Das Goswami, saying, do not speak gramya katha, don't speak nonsense, don't speak unnecessary stuff. So we are seeing here even Mahaprabhu, of course, he giving example, he has to stand by. So he and this Paramananda Puri, they were going back and forth for 3 days. They spoke only Krishna Katha. Translation: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed with Paramananda Puri in the Brahmana's house where he was residing. The two of them passed 3 days there discussing topics of Krishna. So this is one instruction for all of us, though the Shastra is teaching us through different pure devotees of the Lord that how a devotee should be, even a sadhaka should be. 170. পুরী গোসাই বলে আমি যাব পুরুষোত্তমে, পুরুষোত্তমে দেখি গৌরে যাব গঙ্গা স্নানে. Paramananda Puri is speaking to Mahaprabhu. Paramananda Puri informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he was going to see Purushottam at Jagannath Puri. After seeing Lord Jagannath, there he would go to Bengal to bathe in the Ganges. So basically Paramananda Puri is informing that I'm going to go to Jagannath Puri, take the darshan of Jagannath ji, and then go to Bengal and take a dip in Ganga. Madhya 171. প্রভু কহে তুমি পুনো আইসো নীলা চলে, আমি সেতু বন্ধ হইতে আসিব অল্পকালে. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this time when he took sannyas, he was in Jagannath Puri. And then he is saying in this verse that you come back to Nilachal, like you are going from here, from south, you are going to Jagannath Puri, taking darshan and going back to Bengal and taking a dip in the Ganges. Please come back to Jagannath Puri, because from here I will come back to Jagannath Puri and we can stay together. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told him, please return to Jagannath Puri, for I will return there very soon from Rameshwar. Shetubandha, that is Rameshwar. 172. তোমারো নিকটে রহি হেন বাঞ্ছা হয়, নীলাচলে আসিবে মোরা হয় সদয়. It is my desire to stay with you, and therefore if you would return to Jagannath Puri, you would show great mercy to me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still requesting Puri Gosai to come back and give your association. If you come and give your association to me, it will be a great mercy upon me. As we were discussing, what do the devotees do together? They do kirtan together, they chant together, they take prasadam together, and top of all, they discuss Krishna together, all the different pastimes of Krishna. But then again, Mahaprabhu had different people to discuss different things. We see how when it was Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, he gave more like an instructive, at Prayag and different places, it was more like an instruction. But when he was preaching, then it was a different instruction. But when he was in Gambhira with Sarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, it was more like relishing the pastime, and it was very guhyam, very, very like esoteric topic, like the Ras Leela and the gopis exchanges with Krishna, which Mahaprabhu did not, speak with anybody else than Sarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. So Paramananda Puri is being invited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and stay with him, and it will be a mercy upon him, is what he's saying to Paramananda Puri. 173. এত বলি তারা ঠাইয়ে আজ্ঞা লয়া দক্ষিণে চলিলা প্রভু হর্ষিত হইয়া. After talking in this way with Paramananda Puri, the Lord took his permission to leave and very pleased departed for southern India. So he continued his travel. Paramananda Puri was still there because he was going to go back to Jagannath Puri. So Mahaprabhu had Rameshwara to visit. So he went ahead and took permission from Paramananda Puri. One thing that you see in Chaitanya Charitamrita a lot is the etiquette, the Vaishnava etiquette, and like how Mahaprabhu behaved, how all our Goswamis behave, and every other devotee of Mahaprabhu. You will see how the etiquette they have. Even if Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's still taking, because Paramananda Puri was a senior, he took permission, and that you see continuous. The love and the etiquette is one thorough thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So next one, 174. Paramananda Puri tobe cholilo নীলাচলে মহাপ্রভু চলি চলি আইলো শ্রী Sailai. Thus Paramananda Puri started for Jagannath Puri, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began walking towards Sri Shaila. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks, which Srila Saila is being indicated by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is not clearly understood. There is no temple of Mallikarjuna in this area because the Sri Shaila located in the district of Dharwar cannot possibly be there. That Srila Saila is on the southern side of Belgaum, and the Shiva temple of Mallikarjun is located there. Refer to text 15 of this chapter. It is said that on that hill Lord Shiva lived with Devi. Also Lord Brahma lived there with all the demigods. 175. Shiva Durga rohe taha brahmaner beshe Mahaprabhu dekhi dohar hoilo ullashe. So Shiv and Durga, whom we all know, are staying on that place in the form, in a disguise of a Brahmana. And seeing them, Mahaprabhu became very happy. In the Sri Shaila, Lord Shiva and his wife Durga lived in the dress of Brahmanas. And when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became very pleased. 176. Tino dina bhikshak dila kori nimantrano Nibritte boshi gupta barte kohe dui jana. Lord Shiva, dressed like a Brahman, gave alms to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and invited him to spend 3 days in a solitary place. Sitting there together, they talked very confidentially. So we see again they are doing Krishna Katha, and then he was invited. Lord Shiva gave him bhiksha or alms, and they talked very intimately about Krishna. 177. তার সঙ্গে মহাপ্রভু করি ইষ্ট গোষ্ঠী তার আজ্ঞা লয়া আইলা পুরী কামকোষ্ঠী. Ishtagoshti, this is like exchange of, the exchanges between the devotees is called Ishtagoshti. Ideally it should be about Krishna Katha. It's another name for Krishna Katha. So basically when the devotees, like you hear something and then another devotee hears something, they exchange, or you read something, or you come across something, and then eventually you exchange whatever your understanding, philosophical understanding, your realization, and the other devotee. So this is basically Ishtagoshti. So that's what he was doing with Lord Shiva. I'm sure Parvati was there too. And then finally again, this word was repeated even again here, Agya. Every time Mahaprabhu leaves, Mahaprabhu takes Agya, takes permission. Let me go, that, it's time for me to leave, so please give your permission for me to leave. After talking with Lord Shiva, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his permission to leave and went to Kamakoshti Puri. দক্ষিণ মথুরায়লা কাম কোষ্ঠী হইতে তাহা দেখি হইল এক ব্রাহ্মণ সহিতে. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at southern Mathura from Kamakoshti, he met a Brahmana. Southern purport. Southern Mathura, presently known as Madurai, is situated on the banks of the Bhagai river. This place of pilgrimage is specifically meant for the devotees of Lord Shiva. Therefore, it is called Shaiva Kshetra, that is, the place where Lord Shiva is worshipped. In this area, there are mountains and forests. There are also two Shiva temples, one known as Rameshwara and the other known as Sundareshwara. There is a temple to Devi called the Meenakshi Devi temple, which is a very popular temple, which displays very great architectural craftsmanship. It was built under the supervision of the kings of the Pandya dynasty. And when the Muslims attacked this temple as well as the temple of Sundareshwara, great damage was done. In the Christian year 1372, a king named Kampanna Udayara reigned on the throne of Madurai. Long ago, Emperor Kulashekhara ruled this area, and during his reign, he established a colony of Brahmanas. A well-known king named Anantaguna Pandya is an 11th generation descendant of Emperor Kulashekhara. A lot of details about the place and the temple. সেই বিপ্র মহাপ্রভুকে কইল নিমন্ত্রণ রামভক্ত সেই বিপ্র বিরক্ত মহাজন. Again, another common feature of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is like, the Brahmanas will invite Mahaprabhu, and we have seen this before also. This time he is a Ram Bhakta. We had earlier also another Ram Bhakta Brahmana who will, since his childhood, he was just chanting Ram, 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 Ram. And and eventually he started chanting Krishna, 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 and then Mahaprabhu will inquire from him that you were always chanting Ram, Ram, and now you're chanting Krishna, Krishna. What happened to you? And then this Brahmana would say, oh, it is you. You must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because even if since childhood I was always chanting Ram Nam, but seeing you, the Krishna automatically sprouted, manifested on my tongue, and I'm not able to stop the name of Krishna, chanting the name of Krishna. So going to another Ram Bhakta here who invited Mahaprabhu, and he was a Birakta Mahajan. Birakta Mahajan means he was very detached from the worldly things. Translation: the Brahmana who met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invited Lord to his house. This Brahmana was a great devotee and an authority on Lord Sri Ramachandra. He was always detached from the material activities. কৃতমালায় স্নান করি আইলা তার ঘরে ভিক্ষা করি দিবেন বিপ্র পাক নাহি করে. After bathing in the river Kritamala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Brahmana's house to take lunch, but he saw that the food was unprepared because the Brahmana had not cooked it. So he invited Mahaprabhu, but he did not prepare anything for Mahaprabhu. He was just sitting there. I mean, what he was doing will be explained. মহাপ্রভু কহে তারে শুনো মহাশয় মধ্যাহ্ন হইল কেন পাক নাহি হয়. Seeing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear sir, please tell me why you have not cooked. It's already noon, so it's madhyano, it's half of the day, and the half day has passed, it's afternoon time, and you have not cooked anything. What's up? Like, you invited me. বিপ্র কহে প্রভু মোর অন্য বসতি অরণ্য বসতি পাকের সামগ্রী বনে নামিলে সম্প্রতি. The Brahmana replied, my dear Lord, we are living in the forest. for the time being, we cannot get all the ingredients for cooking. We will still think, right? If you don't have the ingredients, why did you call him? If you know you don't have things to feed somebody, why do you think he would have invited? But the heart of a Brahmana is so big. Prabhupada says, even if the Brahmana gets 1 lakh rupees today, tomorrow he'll be beggar again. Because the heart of Brahmanas are so big, they can't keep things to themselves. They always give away. So that's why the opposite word for Prabhupada will use for Brahmana is Kripana, who is a miserly person. So if you're a Brahmana, means you should have a big heart. Otherwise you are a Kripana who is very miserly. And then Prabhupada use it not only for actually giving a material thing or your possession, but also knowledge. You might know that you might know things, you might learn the Bhagavad Gita, you might learn the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, but if you do not share it with others, you become Kripana. Because the job of a Brahmana, there are 6 duties of a Brahmana, and 2 of them is Patan Patan. You learn is Patan, and then you teach others is Patan. So by teaching others, a Brahmana is one who gives. And then we hear he taught Yamuna Mataji, Prabhupada's disciple, and taught how to cook very intimately, actually, very closely, from washing hand to whatnot, very detailed. If you go search on YouTube, you will find so many classes or videos of Yamuna Mataji where she shares her journey of learning to cook, prasad and bhoga for Krishna under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. Very, very close guidance, like very detailed guidance. And Prabhupada also told that I taught you, I'm paraphrasing, that I taught you, now you teach others, otherwise you will become envious. So we see it's a Kripana mentality when you know it, but you don't want to teach somebody else because that somebody might do better than you. This is not a very Vaishnava thought process when you think, okay, let it be for me. Why should others get it? And okay, I'm doing it very nicely, and I don't want to teach this recipe to somebody. I don't want to teach somebody how to dress. I don't want to teach somebody how to, whatever. Because if I do, and if that person gets better than me, then, I won't feel comfortable. I'm the one who's teaching, and that person is doing it better than me. Puts us in a, uncomfortable situation. But that's very worldly way of thinking. But then spiritual world, if we have heard the class, months before when we were hearing Radharani's mood, we saw that, Radharani could do so much, but she still involves everybody, every other Sakhi, so that, they serve Krishna. And Krishna derives pleasure. But it is also mentioned, if I remember it correctly, that, Krishna is most happiest with Radharani. But because Radharani is happy when other gopis are serving Krishna, that's why Krishna takes the service or the association of other gopis for the pleasure of Radharani. So our mood of this giving, what Prabhupada did, he was very satisfied, complete in himself in Vrindavan. But yet he came all the way to the Paschatya Desh, to the Western world, just to give. This mood of giving is a very Vaishnava thing. It's a very core characteristic of a Vaishnava is to give and not to keep things for himself or herself. So giving is a mood of Radharani, and so our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, they are all showing us through, the mood of, showing us the mood of Radharani through by their example. So Brahmana still called. He didn't have ingredients. He still called. One way we can look at it is also he had so much faith that Krishna will arrange it. Our mood should be to serve. Rest Krishna will take care. 183. Bonno shak follow mulo ani belok Lakshman tobe Sita koriben pako prayojan. Now the Brahmana is actually in a very different mood. When Lakshmana brings all the vegetables, fruits and roots from the forest, Sita will do the necessary cooking. Though he called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasadam, he's sitting there, not he is lazy or he doesn't, because he's so dependent on, at this point is Lord Ramchandra, he's in a mood of he is, he is playing Ramayan, and he's saying that Lakshman will bring things and Sita will cook and then you will get prasadam. So he is not in his external consciousness, and that's why We'll know it better. তার উপাসনা শুনি প্রভু তুষ্ট হইল, আস্তে ব্যস্তে সেই বিপ্র রন্ধন করিল. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied to hear about the Brahmana's method of worship. Finally, the Brahmana hastily made arrangements for cooking. So Brahmana, he personally did not think that he will go. He did not own it. It's a very subtle difference being dependent on Krishna and being lazy. It's a very, very subtle difference, you know. And as Prabhupada mentioned often, the Sahajiyas and this, that. So if we do not understand our philosophy deeply, we may get into the mode of being lazy and considering it to be being dependent on Krishna. And the other extreme side is thinking ourselves as the controller. Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Krishna declares he is the controller. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam. He is the controller. He is the master of everything. He is the master of even of the senses. That's why his name is also Rishikesh. So if you think, see, if you own some other day, one, you know, evening Bhagavad Gita class, one we had a visitor and he was asking me, like, you know, how does karma work on a devotee? And this is my understanding, I might be completely wrong. It is, but what I have heard and assimilated and understood is, the more you own the activities that you are doing, the more karma you get. And the more you depend on Krishna, the lesser karma you get. So basically, if you think I am the doer, so you are the doer, you are also the owner of your karma. But if you think you are an instrument in the hand of Krishna, maybe you are doing beautiful things, you know, you are decorating Kalachandji, but so long we know that, you know, you are an instrument, Krishna is using you. See, ultimately we are so dependent. We are so dependent. This body is so dependent. This mind is so dependent. I mean, more that it's dependent and it is so unpredictable. Today you feel all good. Tomorrow you may tip over and you can break your leg. And you may not be able to do what you were doing yesterday. The arm can break, the mind may go crazy, and you may not do the things that you were doing before so nicely. People were praising you and things like that. And that's the time when we realize that how dependent we are. And how unpredictable this material world is, and so is this body. It's also made of matter. So that's the thing. So but then this Brahmana's mood is, even if he is doing it, he is thinking that Lakshmana is getting the ingredient, then Sita Devi will cook. In that mood, he was cooking. Next verse, 185. Prabhu Bhiksha Koila Dinir তৃতীয় প্রহরে নির্বিন্ন সেই বিপ্র উপবাস করে. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his lunch at about 3 o'clock, but the Brahmana, being very sorrowful, fasted. One thing is just a word that is called bhiksha. Bhiksha, usually in Hindi also we say bhiksha means you know, begging. So this word is used for both, for begging also, and also when Mahaprabhu took lunch, that is also referred as a bhiksha. So Mahaprabhu had his lunch at 3 o'clock, and but then this Brahmana did not eat anything. He was very sad. Why was he sad? He was sad because Prabhu kahe bipro kahe koro upobas, kene eto dukho kene koro hotash. While the Brahmana was fasting, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you fasting? Why are you so unhappy? Why are you so worried? What did the Bipro say? Bipro kohe jivone mor nahi proyojon, ogni jole probeshiya charibo jivon. The Brahmana replied, I have no reason to live. I shall give up my life by entering either fire or water. He was ready to give up his life. He was really sad. Mahaprabhu said, why are you not eating? Why are you doing upavas? Why are you fasting, not eating? And you're just sad. Why are you unhappy? He's saying there is no reason for me to live. And why was he thinking? Was he in a pain? Was he like his money went away, or, you know, the breaking of relationship, or the son or the child or the wife did something? Was it something like that or something else? In the next verse, Jagannmata Mahalakshmi Sita Thakurani Rakshashe Sparshila Tare Yaha Kahe Shuni. Why was he sad? My dear sir, Mother Sita is the mother of the universe and the supreme goddess of fortune. She has been touched by the demon Ravana, and I am troubled upon hearing this news. I didn't know that we will be speaking on this, otherwise Kulashekar Alvar also had something similar. He would hear Ramayana again and again. And then what happened when they spoke about Ramayana at the time when Sita was being abducted, he will get so worked up. He will get so worried and sad and upset. He will tell his army he will say, okay, let's go and help Mother Sita and help Ram. Let's all go. And then the people who are there, his people, the king's people, the king's men, they will say that nothing happened. It is, you're listening to the Ramayana, like we are hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that, you are hearing Ramayana, it had already happened, don't get so worried, everything is fine. But he was so much absorbed in the katha that he will, every time he will hear, he will ask his army to, soldier to take out the horses and get ready and go, let's, fight Ravan and bring Sita back. So what happened, the army got really tired of every day doing it. First time when he first, or the few times when he went, the army from the other side, they will, they'll plot it in a way, they'll come and say, oh, Mother Sita is back, you can go back. So they'll plot it in a way that, they to relieve the king of the pain of that Mother Sita is being touched by Ravan, and they're separated, she is separated from Lord Ram. To solace the king, they will come from the opposite side and give the good news that she is fine now, she is back. So it went on, and they decided finally that nobody will read this abduction of Sita in front of the king, because he gets so worried and he wants to go, run, leave everything and save Sita. So and then one day, what happened, the Brahmana who knew that he is not supposed to read, he couldn't come. Somebody else was reading, not sure if it was his son or somebody else was reading. And then he again read that part, Sita abduction. And then again Kulashekar Alvar was again worried and again in pain and again started. So it went on like that. So the story is, it is not a story, but the moral of this, this pastime is, that is the absorption of the hearer. That, so much absorbed that they cannot make difference between what is real and what is being told, what is, where you are and what is you are hearing. They make it one and they start living it. So this is what is happening with the Brahmana. Brahmana is saying that what is the point of me leaving? Mother Sita is being touched by this Ravan and I'm hearing it. So hearing it is such a painful thing, I rather give up my life. এই শরীর ধরিবারে কবু না জুয়ায়, এই দুঃখে জলে দেহ প্রাণে নাহি যায়. Sir, due to my unhappiness, I cannot continue living. Although my body is burning, my life is not living. That my body is burning hearing this pain, but I'm still alive. My body is not leaving me. Maybe we'll do few verses. Actually, what will happen now, Mahaprabhu, seeing him to make him peaceful, Mahaprabhu will go and then bring praman, bring reference, bring, to tell that this Sita Devi, who has been touched by Ravan, was actually Maya Sita and not the real Sita. So to give a scriptural reference, Mahaprabhu will go and come back and solace give solace to the Brahmana who is lamenting for Mother Sita, as she is being touched by the demon, Ravana. And read 190 and pause. It's already 8:34. প্রভু কহে এই ভাবনা না করিহ তার, পণ্ডিত হইয়া কেনে না করহ বিচার. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, please do not think this way any longer. You are a learned Pandita. Why don't you consider the case? So here on, Mahaprabhu will go further bring the proof where, it is being mentioned that this Sita is not original Sita who's been touched, and then the Brahmana will be happy and he will be. But then one thing, before we pause today, as I was reading, but see how merciful the Lord is. He was continuing his path. He could have just gone ahead and continued his journey. Why does he have to bother that somebody is sad and I have to make this person peaceful? But he went, he came back, and this happened before also, where we have this Ram Bhakta, and then he went and he came back. By the time he came back, he became Krishna Bhakta from Ram Bhakta. But you see the love that Lord has for his devotee. He went, he found a proof, found a reference, scriptural reference, came back, made this Brahmana peaceful, and then left. He did not, even if he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who owns the universe and universes and beyond, still cares for a tiny jiva who is unhappy because of Mother Sita being touched by Ravan. This is how loving, affectionate, caring the Lord is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, and so are his devotees. So with that, I would like to pause here. The breakfast is ready. Those of you who would like to go, please go ahead. And if you have any question, any realization, anything you would like to share, please go ahead. This will pause. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo anantakoti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.